So what do we have here? I'm back, not in full force, hi Gina, but I am back and I'm gonna try to do this as much as possible. It's been a rough time. My mom in her hospice about a couple weeks ago. Her health's been declining and unfortunately she passed away about a week ago, not quite a week ago. So it's been a little rough. Really tiring trying to do as much as we can for her. Let me see if I like this better. No, not really. But anyway, so it's been rough. But I do want to get back into doing some YouTube. I've been doing some builds. I just haven't been filming because filming and testing and everything takes a lot. And I've done a couple projects. I just wasn't happy with either the quality or the results, and I just didn't feel it was really necessarily to speak to. I do have some footage I might still work on. So, but, and you know, obviously you guys may post below, and I do appreciate any thoughts and prayers you guys send me and my family. That is very much appreciated. But let's get to the good stuff. So we have a build here. Today isn't the build log, but we have a couple things here. Some things I've worked with before, some things I have not, and I'm excited. Let's open that up. So let's find what I'm looking for here. Here we go. Here is the star of the show. It is a EVGA GTX 1660 non-TI. It's a smaller build, so I wanted a kind of a blower. It's not fully a blower, but a blower style design. And then I want to revisit this motherboard. I got this motherboard for one reason. So we're gonna go over both of these products today. So it's gonna be a dual unboxing, dual overview as well. This, you'll get some performance results on in the next video. I'm gonna be doing another Ryzen versus Intel video pretty soon. So I'm not gonna compare the graphics card because I've decided that I actually want to use GeForce reference designs or blower coolers in a couple upcoming builds because they're micro ATX. So that's why I haven't gone with AMD, because AMD has really good pricing, but they're all open air designs. I'm trying to avoid that. So let's go ahead and open up the graphics card first, and then let's go over this board in depth. Here we have the GTX 1660 non-TI, has 6 gigs of GDDR5 memory. I/O wise, we have basically a display port, probably 1.4, HDMI 2, and DVI. I would only ever use the DVI-D if indeed you are using surround triple monitor. Otherwise, go with the better connectors. We use a single 8-pin PCI Express power connector. So what that means is if you stay within spec of PCI Express power and PCI Express on the board, the maximum theoretical output you'll have is 225. However, I'd be very shocked to see this thing go north of 175. The RX 580s use 2 of these, and they usually push around 150 total power. So that's just plenty of headroom for overclocking if you get like an unlocked BIOS or something of that nature. Heat pipe wise, looks we have 3 of them. They look to be anywhere from 6 to 8 millimeters. I'm not too sure about that. But from my thermal testing on an open air test bench, I was in the mid 50 degrees. I haven't put it into a case yet, but I would be surprised to see north of 70 degrees based off what I've seen so far. That was an IDA 64 full load. And it did very well with that. So, and I did have the temperature target of 92 degrees. Construction wise, a lot of heatsink. This card is all heatsink. It's a triple, basically 2.5, 3 slot design, but the heatsink is very solid. The plastic has no flex to it. It's very solid. The fan is very, very, very solid. If you guys remember my evolution of Sapphire graphics cards, older fans used to be very chintzy. Definitely not the case nowadays. And you can even see, you know, yes, this is the $220 version, but you can actually see heat pads over the VRM, and you can also see them over here as well. So the metal plate goes around all the components. It's just basically as help support the beefy heatsink. So overall, good card. Pretty excited to use this going forward. You guys will be seeing some benchmarks here soon. They won't be comparing this card to anything, but more so just what you can expect, what kind of performance they'll give. But now let's take a look at the motherboard. Okay, so I've used this motherboard before, but I didn't understand RGB, ARGB, etc. Now, one thing to note is ASRock is pretty much the only manufacturer from what I've seen that does addressable RGB on anything that's not super expensive. So I have a ASRock X470 K4 Gaming. It's $150 or something. It's a good board. I have a 4.2 solid, 3000 megahertz memory. It's fine. But that has addressable RGB. As you guys know, I added the PC cooler fans to my inventory, meaning that this is something that I'm going to be using going forward. So this is what's really nice about this. So I'm going to see if I can get a decent shot. So down here we have regular RGB. So this is 12 volt. And then right next to it we have the addressable, which is 5 volt. Okay, so 5 volt, 12 volt. And then all the way up here, that says it's for the AMD LED fan. I would probably say that's probably exactly what it's for. So, you know, it's probably, I wouldn't stick any 12 volt in there necessarily. As for everything else, so let's take a quick look. So this is actually a 3+3 power phase, so it's not a 6+ split 3. I watched BuildZoid's video, and each of these is essentially one power phase. So 2600X is probably fine. I mean, you could put a 2700X, but you'd be a little bit pushing it. I'd feel a little more confident with a better delivery. And then we do have an 8-pin up here. So if you're not looking to do any kind of overclocking, maybe a 2700 would be fine, but I wouldn't go any further than that. Fan connectors, we have one here, we have two down here, and then we have the CPU and extra up here. So that basically makes it so we're going to be doing a total of 3 fans and a pump. So we have plenty, right? So the pump will go here, and then we'll have 2 intake fans and then 1 exhaust. So the exhaust fan will go here most likely. I don't think that's actually a pump. I think one of these up here might be a pump, and then we'll probably do the 2 fronts there. So plenty there. I really like the layout of the board. I am really excited to use this board going forward. Looking at the rear, we have 2 USB 2. We have USB 3.1, 4 USB 3, USB Type-C, all your outputs that you would possibly need. So if you're using an APU, plus we have 4 RAM slots. So I've used this board once in the past. I've been very happy with it. It definitely has some shortcomings, like only 4 USB ports. It does have 2 M.2 slots. So, you know, definitely has some limitations, but for basically, I think I spent like 70 bucks on it. I haven't done this in a while. Batteries need to be changed, but I didn't really save much after the $70. So I want to say the board is around 70 bucks. The Intel board is like 80 or 90. It's like a $10 or $20 difference, but overall I think it costs about the same. So you guys will see another motherboard unboxing overview, a case unboxing and overview, a build log, and a head-to-head Intel versus AMD. So I haven't figured out that last one. I'm going to do some of the testing now. I really want to use just the 1660, but I might take out the 1080 and do some testing there as well. So stay tuned to that. If you do like this content, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike button. You can definitely get subscribed. You can buy stuff on Amazon. Speaking of which, you guys have done that recently. I haven't done videos. I've actually got a check from Amazon recently. It wasn't a lot, but it's still pretty cool. And that's pretty much it. As always, guys, this is Steve from PC Budget Solutions, and I'll see y'all later on down the road.